Have you ever wondered what really separates the top 1% of day traders from, well, everybody else? Here's a spoiler. It's not some secret formula, and it's definitely not just luck. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that social media hype to show you the real rules, the capital you actually need, and the unbreakable mindset you have to even stand a chance. Man, that dream is powerful, isn't it? The idea of being your own boss, the freedom, watching profits roll in from your home office. It's a fantasy that's fueled by flashy Instagram posts and how easy it seems to be on those online trading platforms. But before you get totally swept away by that dream, we need to talk about the reality. The gap between the dream and the reality, it isn't just big, it's a chasm. Seriously. This isn't just a demanding career. For most people who try it, it's a brutal one. So before you even think about risking a single dollar, let's get brutally honest about what this really, really takes. Okay, so let's forget about the money and the strategies for just a second. The single most important factor, the number one thing that will determine your success or failure as a day trader is you. It all starts with a cold, hard look in the mirror, a completely honest self-assessment. Look, this isn't just some fluffy checklist. This is a serious gut check. Can you really stay calm and totally rational when you're down thousands of dollars in just a few seconds? Can you stick to your plan right after a huge win, when every part of you is tempted to get greedy and reckless? Because if you can't, the market will absolutely eat you alive. And yeah, that whole 4-hour workweek thing, forget about it. We're talking 10, 12, sometimes even 14-hour days just glued to glowing charts. It's this lonely, high-pressure cooker of an environment. And that psychological grind is exactly what breaks most aspiring traders in their very first year. So, you think you've got the mental toughness for it? That's great. That's step one. But now you need the ammunition. We're talking about the two absolute non-negotiables in this business, capital and knowledge. Trust me, without them, even the strongest mindset is going to crumble under the pressure. All right, let's get straight to the point with the hard numbers. In the US, the absolute minimum amount of money you have to keep in your account to be called a pattern day trader is $25,000. And that's not a recommendation. That's the law. Think of it as the price of admission just to get in the door. But, and this is super important, let's be crystal clear here, the regulatory minimum is not the same as what you actually need to have a real shot at this. Most pros will tell you to start with at least $100,000. Why? Because you need a war chest, not just a piggy bank. You need enough capital to survive those inevitable losing streaks without getting completely wiped out. And look, we're not talking about reading a couple of books and calling it a day. The market is like a living, breathing beast that is constantly changing. The best traders out there, they're perpetual students. They are always learning, always adapting. Because in this game, if you're not learning, you're losing. It's as simple as that. Okay, you've got the right mindset, you've got the money. Now it's time to build your weapon, your trading playbook. This is your personal, non-negotiable set of rules and strategies for how you're going to navigate the absolute chaos of the market. Think of these as the main tools in your toolbox. You've got momentum trading for when the market is clearly trending. Breakouts are for when a stock is coiling up, getting ready to make a big, explosive move. Scalping, that's for grabbing tiny, quick profits in a really fast-moving market. And range trading is perfect for when things are just stuck in a rut, bouncing between two prices. The real pros know exactly which tool to use for the job at hand. Now, here's the hard truth, maybe the hardest truth of all. You can have the best strategy in the entire world, but without ironclad discipline in how you manage your money, you will fail. Period. Your emotions are going to scream at you to break your rules, to bet bigger, to chase your losses. Your one and only job is to ignore them. This right here, this is the golden rule of survival. Risk no more than 1% of your total capital on a single trade. That's it. So with a $100,000 account, that's a $1,000 risk. This rule isn't about making you rich overnight. It's about keeping you in the game long enough to actually learn how to win. And think of this one as your personal emergency brake. If you're down 6% for the day, you're done. Shut down the computer, walk away. This rule is designed to save you from yourself, to stop you from going on tilt and trying to win it all back in one desperate, foolish, account-destroying trade. Mindset, capital, playbook, you're almost ready. But before you even think about hitting that buy button, you need to know the rules of the road. Because there's one regulation in particular that can end your career before it even gets started. So, what is this pattern day trader thing? It's not just a nickname, it's an official label from the regulators. A day trade is super simple. You buy and then sell the same stock on the same day. Do that 4 or more times within a 5-day window, and boom, you're officially a pattern day trader. And here's exactly how it happens. The second your broker's computer algorithm spots this pattern of trading in your margin account, you are automatically flagged. There's no warning, there's no appeal, the consequences are instant, and they are severe. I love this quote because it perfectly captures how permanent this label is. It's not a temporary slap on the wrist. Once you're flagged, you have to maintain that $25,000 account minimum. If your balance dips below that for any reason, your broker will literally restrict your account so you can only close positions. No new trades until you bring it back up. So, when you mix these really harsh rules with all those psychological traps we talked about, you start to see why so many people fail. You know the biggest killer of them all? It's those unrealistic expectations. People think they'll be making 6 figures in 6 months. The reality is, you'll be lucky to just break even in your first year. Another huge one is failing to cut your losses, letting a small, manageable loss turn into a catastrophic one just because you were too stubborn to admit you were wrong. So here's the main takeaway. You have to stop thinking of day trading as some kind of get-rich-quick game and start thinking of it as a small business, a very demanding small business. And you're the founder, the CEO, the sole employee, and the janitor, all rolled into one. Your capital is your inventory, and your discipline, that's your bottom line. At the end of the day, the line between those two things is incredibly, incredibly thin. And the answer to that question? It depends entirely on your preparation, your capital, and most importantly, your psychological fortitude to stick to your plan when the pressure is really on.